Greetings, YouTube friends and family. Thank you for tuning into this video. My name is David. I like to talk about INFJ stuff. I like to talk about writing stuff. And today I want to talk about adversity and going through it. I am currently going through a lot of adversity. I've got a lot going on, major life changes. There's no easy way around it. And so I want to talk a little bit about that and a little bit about how to handle that sort of thing as a sweet INFJ. So stick around with me and let's cover some pretty big topics and see how this all goes. And hopefully something in this video speaks to you and helps you with all of those grand issues that you might be going through. Let's do an intro and I'll be with you in one moment. Here we go. There are two cognitive functions as an INFJ that I want you to keep in mind throughout this video and for the rest of your life moving forward. And it's the fact that you are what's called a knife, N-I-F-E, right? INFJs are a knife. You are NI dominant, which means that you gather information about the world through introverted intuition. And that is a subconscious process. You are not thinking of it. You don't have spidey sense. You are not a Jedi. I'm very sorry to burst your bubble, my sweet INFJs, but you don't have superpowers. You don't need a cape. You cannot predict what people say. You cannot read minds. All of that stuff is nonsense. All of that stuff is just straight up nonsense, which is cool. You're human, okay? You're human. And as a human, you have a gut feeling about things. That's how you work as an INFJ. Introverted intuition is gathering all sorts of information about your world. It is feeding it through all sorts of stuff in your head, and it's trying to make sense of it all, putting together patterns and just sort of mashing all of this information together in such a way that you can process it. And every once in a while, a light bulb goes off and you understand something on a very deep level if you listen to your gut, and that's something that can direct you one way or another in your life. And it's a good thing when you listen to it. When you listen to it. Hear me again. When you listen to it. That's important. The second part of the knife is FE, which is extroverted feeling, which basically means the emotions of other people. The emotions and emotional well-being, the feelings of others play a huge part in your INFJ brain in terms of your decision-making and your value system. Other people are very important to you. The happiness of other people is something that's critical for your own happiness. It's just the way it works. Now, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing in terms of allowing you to read other people, to understand their emotions, and take those emotions into consideration. It's empathy, right? It's a bad thing if you let it become a bad thing. As a perfect example, it's why INFJs tend to get roped in by narcissists. And we can be manipulated that way by somebody using our own emotions against us. Third in our stack is TI, right? Which is Introverted Thinking, which is our logical thought process. That's us looking at a situation saying, okay, we have gathered all sorts of information through our intuition. We have considered the feelings of other people or emotions of other people in terms of the direction that we may want to go in. Now it's time, somehow this is step 3, for logic. And logic says, okay, how do we logically approach a situation? How do we handle it? What do we do? Last on your list is Extroverted Sensing. Extroverted Sensing can certainly play a part because that is your real world. That is the external world, the physical world that is in front of you. And that too is very important to you and your decision making. It's not one of our stronger functions. That would be extroverted feeling, but it's certainly there and it certainly plays a part in everything. Now, to take these functions and wrap them up in some concrete examples, I'm going to give you a rundown of the adversity that I'm going through and the major life changes that are happening for me. In the last year and a half, I lost my brother. Suddenly, he passed away during a routine shoulder surgery, of all things. And that moment affected me in a very deep way that I will never get over, and has completely and totally changed the trajectory of my life. It happens. Grief is hard. Coming to grips with the loss of somebody who was one of your best friends, as well as your brother, a mentor and a hero in a lot of ways, there's no way around it. That's going to change you. 2019 was really tough. 2020 rolled around and all of a sudden we got murder hornets and coronavirus. Okay, so it didn't get better as soon as the new year hit. And then a few short months into that new year, I learned that my father has stage 4 cancer. And 3 months, almost to the day after getting that news, he was gone. Again, a moment that fundamentally changed the trajectory of my life. And so as an INFJ, how do you wrap your head around this kind of stuff? I mean, extroverted feeling goes berserk because the emotions of other people and the harmony of other people is something that's critical to you. So sitting there for 3 months and watching day after day my father deteriorate and pass away, understanding that he's suffering, that's something that just sort of stomps the life out of your extroverted feeling. And it's hard. It's hard to wrap around. You want to soothe somebody. You want to make them feel better. But you know that there's an end and it's coming. And that's all there is to it. And that was difficult. Now, to add to that, my poor INFJ brain is currently going through the sale of my house. I've decided to sell this place. I am moving a couple 100 miles away from where I am currently, and I am going through a divorce. And so that, combined with having to work and responsibilities with the job and with kids, trying to get a book finished and published, it's so close. It's so close. It's this close. It's really close. I'm almost ready for like a release date and all that kind of stuff. And grieving and just all of this kind of stuff together. Man, it's a lot. It's a lot for a brain. And it's part of the reason that my videos have been like once every 3 weeks, or maybe twice in a week, or maybe once in a month, or what have you. It's been inconsistent lately. Consistently inconsistent. It happens. It won't last forever. And so, with all of that going on, and major life changes, how do you wrap your INFJ brain around it? And before I go into how I'm dealing with some of these things, I would like to ask you to put some comments down in the comment section and let me know. What is a major life change that you went through? And what was it like? Was it related to a sickness? Was it related to a separation in a relationship? Was it related to a job, a move, or some kind of an event that completely and totally changed your direction? I'd like to know. And share it, share it with others if you're willing to share it with others, as much as I'm doing now for some reason. So let's cover INFJs and grief, right? I've talked a lot about this on this channel because I've been grieving for the last year and a half, and it didn't really stop. It just kind of intensified with another death in the family. And so with grief, it's very difficult because there's really nothing that you can do. There's nothing you can do to soothe the emotions of other people. Everybody's grieving. So my family members are very upset. And obviously it was very, very difficult, very hard on my immediate family to lose 2 people in our unit. And there's nothing you can say. There's really nothing you can do except for try to be present and try to be a listening ear and try to be a rational voice and let people know that you were meaningful in somebody's life before they were gone. And they will be meaningful in your life long after they are gone. And that is very important. And it's okay to be not okay about it. It's all right to be upset. It's all right to have a day where you get triggered and you spend the entire day shedding tears. I've had a lot of those people. I've had a lot. Most days, I'm not okay. But I have pockets of happiness and being all right. And I try to hold on to those. And I think as an INFJ, that's what you have to do. You have to understand that there are some things that are calamitous circumstances that you absolutely cannot change. No matter how bad you want to. This is your extroverted feeling going berserk, right? You want to soothe everyone and everything. You want everybody to be happy all at the same time. You want to inspire others. You want to let that idealistic nature run wild. Sometimes you just can't. And there's nothing you can do about it. And that will absolutely drive an INFJ bonkers. You can't fix it. You can't fix these other people. People are going to be sad on their own. And you have to understand that they're going to reach out to you if they need to. And they're going to talk to you if they need to. And then you can be there for them. And you can soothe them the right way. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to not be okay. That applies to you and applies to everybody else too. Now, another thing I've touched on is selling a house. I was not prepared for this process. That is a difficult undertaking and it brings a lot of anxiety. I had good news today in regards to the house sale. I actually have, the house was on the market for only a couple days and we have a purchase agreement that is signed. And so everything is working out okay. The house has been inspected. Everything came through clear. So all these things are good. Now, that's my logical brain, right? That's my TI, that third one in the cognitive function stack. And that logical brain is saying, okay, in order to get everything set and to sell this house, I have to make sure that the proper things are in place. Any repairs that need to be done are done. Paperwork needs to have the T's crossed and dotted and the I's crossed and dotted or whatever. I usually just cross and dot everything just to cover my bases. I'm not sure what the words are. I don't know. Emotional brain is having a hard time with the sale of the house, but is also ready to get out of here because emotionally I look around and when I bought this house, it was in quite a bit of disrepair and my father spent weeks with me here and we replaced windows, we replaced doors, we did all kinds of work structurally to make sure that this place was okay and was safe and was a good place for me to raise some kids. But now I am impossibly sad about Dad being gone. And every room of this house has part of him there and memories there. And I'll be honest with you, it's too much for me. It's too much. I can't look around and have all these reminders constantly. They don't make me happy. They make me sad because he's gone. I would much rather hold something that was important to my father or look at a picture or control in some way how I am remembering him and not being in the space is a relief, which makes it hard because now my house doesn't feel like my home. My house feels like a constant reminder of something very, very sad. And it's been time to let go. So my emotional brain, my FE, is trying to extrovert feeling this situation, but it can't because my dad's gone. My TI, my logical cognitive process, is saying, okay, this is the reality of the situation, and here's what you need to do about it in order to fix it. And here are the steps that you need to take. And that works. Your functions work, my sweet, sweet INFJ. You're going to be okay. Extroverted sensing obviously comes into play as well. I touch a doorknob that I know my dad installed. I'm touching a handrail that I know my dad installed. I'm in that same space and place. And so all of these things are just kind of working in concert to really mess with my head. And so I'm trying to get past that and do it the best I can. Which brings me to the other difficult thing that I'm going through right now, which is a break in a relationship. Now, I'm hesitant to talk too much about this because A, it's not your business. B, I'm not looking at broadcasting all my personal information everywhere. I know that might come as a surprise if you've seen some of my videos, but at the same time, you have to understand that you're barely seeing 10% of me. You're seeing snippets and captures, and while they are real life, it's not the full picture. I am okay, and the people around me are okay. And this break is not one out of sheer animosity or anything like that. As a matter of fact, everybody's getting along fine, and we're doing all right, just understanding that something had to change. And I'm a vastly different person today than I was before my brother passed away. And with those changes comes a shift in perspective and a shift in priorities and everything else. I've described it to people like this. Imagine you're at sea and you're in a small boat and there is a massive wave towering over you. And it's going to hit. You have two options for yourself. You can turn the boat and you can ride that wave. And while you wanted to go forward, it's going to take you in a different direction. And you can go that way. Or you can try and fight against it. And it's a huge wave. And it's going to take you. And that boat is going to capsize. And you may drown. So, life steers you in a particular direction and you go with it. This is not easy for an INFJ. It's that darn J at the end of it. Why can't we all be INFPs, really? But that J wants things in order and it wants things a certain way. And sometimes life says, no, it's going to be like this now. And if you fight this, it's going to get you. I try my hardest to make sure that the personal relationships that mean a lot to me are ones that are filled with love. I want to be kind to people and I want to help people. One of my favorite things that, and some of you have written this to me, one of my favorite things to get is when somebody writes me out of nowhere and says, hey, I was watching your videos and I got to say, you inspired me to write again. That is the greatest message I can possibly receive from anyone. Because it's so important to me to write, get my words down, and get them ready to share with you. And knowing that somehow this idiot sitting in his home in the middle of nowhere in northern New Hampshire, this frozen tundra, can just speak his mind and inspire you to create from your mind. That's everything to me. It's mind-blowing and I love it and I want to keep doing it. So just as an aside to my fellow creatives, please write. Please create your art. Please do all the things. The world needs to hear your voice. It is critical. It is important. I want you to write with me. Please create. Create with me. Having a change in your relationship is really difficult because there's care for another person. And that's when extroverted feeling is really going to do its job on you. And it's hard. It's hard looking realistically at your life and saying, okay, this is the direction that I'm going in and this is how it's going to have to be. And balancing that with the emotions of other people. It's very, very difficult. And there's not an easy, gentle way to do it, but you can do it gently. And you can do it while still letting the people that are close to you know that they are important and they are critical in your life. You're just going in a different path. That's really all there is to it. Now, something that's going to happen to you if you have to make drastic changes and your life changes, much like mine is changing right now, is that you're going to have people that have been in your life that will fall on one side of the fence or the other. People will say that they want you happy, and they'll support you, and they will. And they'll check up on you, and they'll know what you've been going through, and they will take the time to try and understand you and help you. Other people, you may think they were your friend, but they won't do that. They will close their mind and open their mouth, when what they should be doing is opening their mind and shutting their mouth. But not everybody's like that. Some people are judgmental, and some people will come to conclusions without all of the information, without even talking to you. They will form an opinion of you that is totally incorrect. And they'll burn the bridges. Regardless, they'll burn a pyre of your olive branches if they have to, because of some need to make a point, I guess. And someday they're going to turn their head around, and they're going to see that smoldering pile of ash, and they're going to wonder why they have very few friends. And they'll get on their high horse again and ride to their glass house and look at the pile of stones that they would like to throw at everyone else and realize that there's really nobody left to throw the stones at. You are better off without those people. Because if they make you feel that way, what value do they really have? If somebody's intent on not paying attention to you or understanding you and just wants to be critical and judge you, goodbye. That's really all there is to it. You don't need them. You don't. You need the positivity around you and the people that are actually willing to be non-judgmental and understand you. Those are the ones that you keep close. Those are the ones that are most important. And it's going to be hard because that extroverted feeling is going to tell you not to do that. It's going to tell you to apologize, to make amends, and to go crawling back to whoever it is that for some reason feels wronged or betrayed at the fact that you're trying to do something in your life that is really important to you. Can't listen to it. You got to let that logic kick in and say, you know what? If that's the value that somebody's putting on me and they're making it about them, you don't have time for it. You have to focus on you. My sweet, sweet INFJ, you have to focus on you. Because if you can't breathe, you can't help those around you breathe either. It's true. So if you're sitting there thinking about the direction that you're going in, knowing that a major change is on the horizon, whether it's work or a relationship or like me, a move or whatever it is, you have to take the step. You can't wait. You can't delay, because those things are going to build resentment for those around you, because you're constantly going to be putting yourself aside because of the harmony of others. But if you keep doing that, who are you living for? Are you living for the people that are hurting you? Well, that's not terribly fair, is it? Are you living because you don't want to upset somebody? Or you're afraid of what somebody might think? Well, it's not their life. They're leading their own life. It's your life. You're leading your life. And you need to do it to the best of your ability and follow the path that you believe is right. There are people around you that love you. There are people around you that care about you. I mean, shoot, look at all the comments that I get on this channel, and many of you have just become great friends, which is really incredible. But you're all caring people. Lean on those people. Develop those relationships and those friendships. People that are willing to be an objective voice and carry you through some of the hard times and that adversity. You don't have to do it alone. But you do need to make sure that you are steering your boat the right way. And when that giant wave is coming and you know you're going to get hit, you've got to look at your path and you've got to look at your options, and you need to find a way to be okay. What I'm doing right now is finding a way to be okay. And you, my sweet, sweet INFJ friends, are going to find a way to be okay as well. So thank you. You're going to see a scenery change soon enough, because I'm not going to be here for very much longer. And I'm looking forward to this change of scenery and this new chapter in my life. And I can't wait to show you a new space and some of the things that I've been working on. And I've got a book coming out. It actually has a cover, and I'm not going to show it to you because I'm not ready to reveal it just yet, but it's really good. And I'm almost ready to go. So thank you for watching this. I love you and I appreciate you. And I will see you back on here very, very soon.